Thanks for tuning in to the Charles Novell School of Music podcast, The Best Day Yet. Here you'll find tips, insight, and information to help your music and your ministry succeed. Whether you're a singer, a musician, or a songwriter, we want to help you where you are, but we also want to help you get to where you want to go. We believe that our talents are God's gift to us, but what we do with those are our gift back to God. Yesterday's information is important, but what we can learn today will make this the best day yet. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the CNS podcast, The Best Day Yet. So excited that you are here. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to tune in for tips and insights and different things that we try to do with the Charles Novell School of Music, just to help you be the best that you can be unto God, doing what you do back unto Him. We want just to encourage you to do what we do with excellence. I share it on social media. I found several nuggets of artifacts in our CNS library this week. I uncovered a box that was full of cassette tapes, and these cassette tapes had various random classes, seminars, workshops that have been taught at CNS over the years. And one of them in particular, and again, I posted a picture of it online, was J.D. Sumner teaching our performance training class. And that may make its way onto a future Best Day Yet podcast episode. But one thing that, just in listening to it last night, that really struck me, if you know JD, you understand the bar, and you understand setting the bar high. Arguably the best at that position bass singers to ever step on the stage or hold a microphone. And in this class and talking to our students, this was from a performance training class again in 1991, and he was talking kind of at the end of the class, and he told everyone he didn't want to sound cocky or overconfident, that he knew there was a lot better bass singers in the world than himself. However, when he would step on the stage, he was the best on the stage at that time. And he really just encouraged our students that day, which spoke to me listening to it last night, to be the best that we can be. The comparison game is dangerous. We see something, we strive for it. We talk, and my dad was big with this, and I've been big with this. It's one thing to have people that we're trying to emulate and that we look up to as far as trying to pattern our work ethic and our goals and our practice schedules after. There's nothing wrong with that. However, we have to realize we are who God created us to be. And the most important person that's going to walk on that stage for that performance will be you. And this just spoke to me when JD was speaking about that last night as I was listening to this cassette. So we're all about just being the best that we can be. And today we're going to have a fun topic. I'm excited about this. This is something I've been looking into in my own personal time. I love listening to podcasts, not only recording them, but I love listening to them as well. Man, I'm highly driven. I every single day, I want to do something that day to further my knowledge, to further my skill sets, and my information as a husband to my wife, Jen. I want to be a better husband at the end of the day. I want to be a better father to my kids. I want to be a better musician. I want to be a better minister. I want to be a better leader in what I do and the leading the Charles Novell School of Music. So every day I keep raising that bar. I want to learn new things and new techniques that can help me. And I've recently ran across a principle that's in the business field. Simon Sinek. He's a famous speaker, and probably his most famous thing has been he developed something called the Golden Circle. And the golden circle is what, how, and why. And three different areas that he approaches from a business standpoint. And as I started looking into these, I can find ways to apply this to my personal life, to my music, and to my ministry. So I want us to talk a little bit about this today and this approach, this theory, this example that I've been personally studying, and I see good things that can come out of it. However, I think I'm seeing big picture with this theory that for us in ministry, I think we need to flip this whole thing and approach it maybe from the back forward. And we'll talk about that as we move on. So the golden circle theory basically explains how leaders can inspire cooperation, trust, and change in a business based on the research into how the most successful organizations think, act, and communicate if they start with why. So this golden circle model is an attempt to explain why some people and organizations are particularly able to inspire others and differentiate themselves successfully. I think there's so many things that we can dive into today and talk about. I'm kind of approaching this from the standpoint, and I see this a lot with CNS. Currently, my dad, I know for decades, was going through this, and what our main focus at CNS is to help people be the best that they can be using the skill sets and the talents that God's given them so they can be the most effective in ministry for reaching people for Him. It's kind of real simple. We all have a ministry. How we operate in that ministry is through the giftings and the skill sets God's given us. CNS, yes, we're a school of music, so we talk a lot with our students about musical talent, singing, playing, songwriting. So many times through the years, the question has been posed to me, how do I get into ministry? How do I get into a full-time gospel music position? How do I take my music to the next level? How do I learn to write more effectively? So the how question, a legitimate question. And there's a lot to that. The short answers to that. How do you take your songwriting to the next level? Golly, you got to take it to the workbench and work and work and work. The only bad song you can ever write is the one that you don't write. You have to put as much time and effort into songwriting as you do singing or playing any musical instrument. Yeah, it's called practice. It's putting yourself to it. I was talking to a student last night, and I shared with them, look, this is you're not going to wake up one day and because I write your assignments in your notebook every week and you show up successfully once a week, without putting the effort into it, you're never going to get to a place that you truly want to be. The question was posed to me, how long is it going to take me to be able to play this instrument? I'm laughing because they hadn't put any practice in this week. None. But yet they want to know, when is it going to happen? Man, you got to roll your sleeves up. You got to climb in. You got to do the work. So how is a legitimate question? And again, multiple answers to that. That's why we offer the Charles Novell School of Music, is to help you with the how. We want, through our summer sessions that we have each year, to different weekend regionals that we do throughout the course of the year. We'll have one coming up this fall, October 27th and 28th in Cincinnati, Ohio. More information on that, shameless plug here, at www.cnsmusic.com. But that's a great opportunity. You don't have to wait until our national session every July. You can be part of different things that we're doing. We have our online school. The online school is available 24/7, 365, which means you can register and sign up any day of the year. The last couple years, we've designated a week in the fall to do our online school for the year, but we've shifted that. This starting this fall, The school is out there. It's available 24/7, 365. Once you sign up, you're going to get 30-day access to complete all the curriculum, all the classes. There are over 120 video classes on our online course of study. So there's another how. Getting with someone in your local area to take private lessons from. We can also help you with that. If you can't find someone local in your town to help you, we have something called creative coaching with CNS. That's where you can study virtually with our staff year round. You can do weekly lessons, bi-weekly, once a month, whatever works in your schedule. We can help you with that. So again, if you want more information on that, you can reach us at www.cnsmusic.com. That's called creative coaching. But there are multiple ways that the how can be answered. And I think also with the how, I think even before you just dive in and say, okay, I'm going to be a singer, or I'm going to be a gospel musician, or I'm going to write Christian songs. Man, I think it's vitally important. Part of the how is, how do you know you're supposed to do this? There's one clear answer. You do this and you know you're supposed to do this if you've been called to do this. So if God has tugged on your heart and said, you know what, I need you to do this, he's going to equip you with the why, the how, and the what. He's going to fill in those blanks. But I think the getting to the how is successful if you know you have been called to do this. So the how is important. Let's go back to the what. What is it that you truly want to do? I know for me, I am 54. I've grown up in this. I've literally have been in this all my life. This is all I've ever truly known. And I'm thankful for that. I grew up in this school, was influenced by so many amazing teachers that I was able to sit under in this school, both privately and also corporately in classroom settings. Just so many different people have spoke into me over the course of my life. And it at times, the whole what thing was a giant question, because I started on the piano. My dad literally had me balanced on that bench, I think, when I could balance on the bench. And I pursued the piano thing, went after that for a while. Then the second thing I did, I played drums, and then went from drums to bass guitar, and kind of back to the piano, and then I threw guitar in the mix, and then I started the whole songwriting thing. And there's been multiple periods along the way over these 5.5 decades that I've kind of got confused as to what the what truly is. What am I supposed to be concentrating on today? The piano, songwriting, guitar, bass guitar. Where is my focus? I didn't even mention engineering and audio and the producing end that I do in the studio. So kind of when you have multiple irons in the fire, sometimes the what can be confusing. So I know that in each season, though, in each process there, when I'm in at the piano, I was full in at the piano. And same thing when I went to the bass guitar. I've kind of shared, and it's a little bit my musical history. It's part of my testimony as well. That I grew up in a shadow of an amazing, gifted minister and musician in my dad, and as thankful as I am for that, it was also something that was a little stressful for Rob, in the fact that people just expected me to be this next great pianist like my dad. And I love to play, and I'm confident in what I do and how I play. But I realized a long time ago, I was never going to be able to wear my dad's shoes. It's physically impossible. Number one, he wore an 8.5 and I wear a 10.5. So I literally can't fit in those shoes. But the thing was this: I ran for so long from that because I just didn't feel like I could measure up to that. And I honestly pursued the bass guitar because that was a little easier lane. My dad did not play the bass guitar. That was an opportunity for Rob to go out and kind of create his own identity and do his own thing. At different times, I've kind of called it the prodigal son story line of my musical journey, because I ran and then I came back. And you know what? There was a ring, a robe, and a fatted calf waiting on me. But I've kind of come full circle. And at this stage of my life, the what is it's a totally new mindset for me. And I was sharing with one of my weekly private students that I teach virtually, because she's out of state. I'm in Georgia. She's in Ohio. And she's also a CNS student and part of our CNS family. We were talking this morning, and this season of my life and the what is so different, but yet so more rewarding. I was recently told that I only run this school because my father passed away and this school was heired to me. Now, there's obvious truth in that, but at the same time, when my dad passed away and I was at a crossroads, do I continue my dad's vision with this school, or do we fold the tent and put it away? Do we call it quits to the Rob Novell School of Music? And I thought long and hard about that for about 1.9 seconds and said, nope, we move on. There's work to do. There are things that are left undone, and we must continue pushing this school and this train of ministry forward. Not because my last name is Novell and it just was the right thing to do to continue the family business. No. Well, actually, yes, I am continuing the family's business. And here's what I mean by that. No one was holding a gun to my head and forcing me to move the Rob Novell School of Music forward. I had answered a call on my life. I'm called to do this. This isn't just something I do. This is something that I was called to do. And so I am about my Father's business. My Heavenly Father placed a call on my life. Ephesians 4 says some are called to be pastors, apostles, prophets, teachers is on that list. And in this season of my life, as I was sharing with a student just today, a couple hours ago, I get more reward now out of watching and pushing our students forward into opportunities that they have, doors that open for their ministries. I get more excited about seeing them literally be on stage than if Rob was on stage. I've been there, done that. I'm thankful for that. I have a wall of shame in my studio where I've got awards and different accolades that have been achieved through my musical journey. And I'm grateful and proud and thankful for all of that. But this season of my life is different because I want to see other people reach those goals and achieve the dreams and get to the bar that they've set. Why? So they can raise it and keep getting better and better. So the what, the how. Now the why. This particular golden circle model, it's based off of actually saying that we start with why instead of the what, the how, then the why. They're saying that we actually start with the why. And you know what? I totally get where they're coming from here. The Cynics explains that the why is probably the most important message that an organization or an individual can communicate, as this is what inspires others into action. So start with why is how you explain your purpose and the reason you exist and behave as you do. Cynic's theory is that successfully communicating the passion behind the why is a way to communicate with the listener as to the what and the how. I totally get that from ministry, and here's why. As important as what do I need to do? What path do I need to go down? What model should I follow? The how. Again, how do I become a better singer? How do I become a better musician? Or how do I take my songwriting to the next? All of that is important. But I think, this is a business model, and I've shared that a couple of times. But I think if we totally flip that, as I said earlier, we're going to look at this thing a little backwards. I agree with starting with the why, and here is why. Here's why. If we're called to ministry, everything has to start with, why are we doing this? Why am I leading the school? I shared with you a little bit ago in answering my kind of what season right now. My what it starts with the why. Why am I running this school of music? Because God called me to run this school of music. We said it earlier. I think in the how and in the what, the most important way to approach that is knowing that you have been called of God to be in an active ministry. Ministry is hard, you all. I saw a quote the other day that a friend of mine, a pastor's wife in Ohio, she shared, and it talked about leadership being hard. And, when it comes time from a leadership position to have to do some spring cleaning, the leader's the one left holding the broom. People turn around and they see, when it's clean up in aisle 7 and we have to take action on some things, people can come up with their own conclusions because they see the leader holding the broom. But man, it's necessary from a leadership standpoint to sometimes have to do things that aren't easy to do. I think if you are truly called into your ministry, I think the why starts to make things like making tough decisions in business and in your ministry and in your leadership. I think if you are truly called, I think it starts to help the why take clear focus and make more sense. Recently, I've had a situation from a leadership standpoint, and it's a situation that it has been something that's ongoing and has been addressed and looked into, and just things aren't changing, and it is starting to affect other things. And so it is my position as a leader in ministry. Look, no one is held to a higher level of stewardship in a ministry than the person called to that ministry. So within your own ministry, you at times are going to have to do things that may not be the popular thing to do. They may not be the funnest thing to do, but being a good steward of what God gives you requires us sometimes to have to make some tough decisions. You do what you need to do after you have seek the Lord's guidance on it. So recently in this situation, I came to a point where I'm like, look, this isn't getting anywhere. Rob's not resolving anything here. So, okay, God, I'm going to get out of the way. And as your word says, I'm going to diligently seek you. And I'm going to ask you to give me guidance, to give me some discernment of how to move forward in this area. And you know what? The crazy thing about that scripture and that promise is when we seek him, if we truly humble ourselves and seek him, you know what? He knows, he sees, he cares. He's going to answer us. And for me, it only took a couple days for me to get clear direction as to what I needed to do and how to handle that situation. So the why is vitally, vitally important in what we do. The what, the how, and the why, they all three have purpose. They all three have a place. But I think if we truly are called to ministry, it's got to be from that why standpoint. Are you in this just to play music, just to write songs? And I've seen people in the Christian music field that they're filling a void in their life. They maybe weren't able to do something over here in this lane or in that lane, and they looked at our lane and said, you know what? I can do that. I can there's music inside of me that has to come out. There's opportunity if I go do this here. That's not answering the question as to why. If we're going to be an active music ministry, it has to be from a standpoint we've been called to do this. That's the why. Back to this golden circle model, successfully articulating your why is a very impactful way to communicate with other humans, define your particular value proposition, and inspire them to act. Let's talk about that for a minute. If in my case, I am called to be a teacher, that is this season that I'm in and this season that I'm loving. If God has truly called me, if my why is to be a teacher, to help people, to speak into them, to point them to the right direction God needs them to go, then God's going to equip me with the knowledge and the information that I need to speak into someone and inspire them into movement. So that same business principle can apply to us in our ministry. If you go to that first church of Nowhereville on Sunday morning and, God's frozen chosen and you're sitting there trying to minister to them and they're looking back at you with that blank deer in the headlight look of bless me if you can, if you've truly been called there to do that, then your actions, your ministry, your song selection, your attitude, your mannerisms that day are going to inspire people to listen to your message. What is your message? Well, you're sharing the best message ever created. That for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever should call on his name, right? That is the best message that we have in the universe. And we are there sharing that. So if your why is truly answered, then you can effectively communicate and inspire your listener into receiving what it is that you are offering. So the what, the how, the why. If we look at that and we take it in that order, it spells out the word. If we use them as an acronym, WHY, we can start with the what, we can move to the how, and then we literally end with the why. So WHY. Now, if we flip that, we start with the why. We answer that question. Why do we feel we want to do this? Why are you involved in music? There's a lot other things that you could do with your time than investing into this thing called music. Music takes time. Practice takes time. Developing your skill sets takes time and effort. And if you're going to do it, I encourage us, let's do it to the best of our ability. As J.D. Sumner said on that cassette or cassette, if you know J.D., he would say, hey, we got cassettes out on our product table. If you grasp what he said again, it's about going out and being the best you that you can be, doing what we do with excellence. That just requires hard work, time, and investment put in. It's like the ATM. We can't make a withdrawal if we haven't made a deposit. So why today? The what, the how, and the why. You know what? I think even if we look at business models and we take them and we apply those principles to our life, to our music, and then to our ministry, we're going to truly see that will help this become the best day yet. Y'all be blessed. Thanks for listening to the Charles Novell School of Music podcast, The Best Day Yet. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under the name the Charles Novell School of Music. And for more information on CNS and our upcoming events, like our online school, our weekend regional sessions, our creative coaching, and our pastor's retreat, you can visit us at our website at www.cnsmusic.com. As you've listened to this episode, we hope that you've gained some information that you can apply to your music and to your ministry to make today the best day yet.